Hey, and welcome to the Nobody's Famous podcast.
What is the one thing that you want the people to remember you with when you leave?
And I really can see two types of people in this world.
Stick around and join us on our journey to explore the wonderful stories of people you've never heard of. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nobody's Famous podcast with me, Ali. I hope everyone is safe and well. I'm excited to introduce again this quarantine series, which will cover topics that can benefit us during these difficult times. It's been hard for a lot of people to adjust to the current situation. A very unexpected quarantine that is shifting the way we do things, especially the economy. And so I hope from this series, we can have open discussions on how to manage things like relationships, jobs, the economy, boredom, motivation, etc. And so before that, I want to say thank you for tuning in to the show, the second episode with none other than the one and the only Abdallah Halwani.
Hello.
Hello, it's a pleasure to have you. First,
Same here. Pleasure is mine, Habib.
It's all good. Thank you for being with us. I first want to say thanks to Wallpapers Den. I'm using one of their retro sunset backgrounds.
That's an amazing background, Ali.
Just to kind of fit the theme of the show a little bit.
I have Beirut behind me.
Yeah, which is perfect actually, and that's great. So, okay, please introduce yourself just very briefly, and we can take it from there.
So sure. So my name's Abdallah Halwani, as you know. I'm born and raised in Beirut. Okay, I studied civil engineering. Then I moved to Qatar, worked in engineering for 2 years. Then I decided that's not my thing. You know, that's when I decided to move to Spain. I do my master's in business management. That's where I met you actually, and that's when I decided to completely shift my career from engineering to the FMCG. I'm currently working for Unilever. I've been there for the past 5 years almost, based in Beirut, covering the region. So Iraq, Palestine, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon, obviously. It's been a nice experience so far. I'm especially with COVID nowadays. You know, we've been experiencing new habits, such as biking. So I've never biked before.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't much of a biker, but nowadays I decided, you know what, since I don't have anything to do and everything is closed, I might as well just buy a bike and just cruise around. So I'm mainly into sports. I love sports. So whatever it is, mainly it's basketball, skiing. I started scuba diving actually last summer, and I still did not get certified. I was planning on doing so these couple of months, but unfortunately, you know how it is now. So I'm waiting for the scuba diving center to reopen. And yeah, so that's me in a nutshell.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you for that intro, Abdallah. So my first question for you: you work at Unilever, okay, which produces disinfectant, and it's interesting what's happening in the industry right now.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I want to touch on is Trump recently made a statement. I'm sure you know
Yes.
regarding
Funny Trump.
regarding people ingesting Dettol or any type of disinfectant.
Lysol,
So
Dettol,
yeah, so to cure the illness. Have you guys?
Let's just say that's not very smart.
so
Let's just start with that.
Did you guys get so tell us how did you guys get affected by that statement in a way that people in Beirut or Lebanon start asking questions? So yeah, please.
I mean, you know, Trump and his statements. It's always nice seeing him on the news with and on Twitter with all those statements he makes. So it's this one specifically was actually hilarious. Like no one believed it. Like when I first saw it on Instagram actually. And you know when you see something on Instagram, you're not sure if it's true or not. So you'd want to double check it and see if he actually said that. And when I read that, no, it's actually true. I mean, it's just crazy. You can't believe that such people say such things. You know, like disinfectants are not made for you to actually like drink them and use them in your body. You know what I mean? So so yeah, it was like a joke here in Lebanon.
Okay, so so I think in Lebanon we can safely say everyone took it as it should have been taken, as a
Yeah,
joke.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
I mean, there's things like statements came out like a speculation on social media regarding ingesting this, and they, I think RB who do Lysol and Dettol,
Yes,
they released that statement saying like who absolutely under no circumstances should any disinfectant products should be administered into the human body.
yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah,
think it was super funny that we have to kind of reinforce that and also tell people you need to read the label for these things,
yeah, yeah.
which is insane. Um, my second question, I remember we spoke a few weeks ago when a lot of these things were starting to happen, and one
Mhm.
of the things you mentioned was actually your work is quite the opposite of what happened to people. So there might have been people who have lost their jobs, or for example people whose work has slowed down dramatically. For you
Yeah,
it's actually quite the opposite.
exactly, exactly. So you know, Ali, now, so there's obviously a surge in demand on consumer products in general because of COVID-19. And the reason behind this is just it's very simple. So people are panicking, and they know that they should buy in bulk. You know, especially hand wash, um, like disinfectants and sanitizers. So and we basically sell all those products. And so given the surge in demand, our workload actually increased. And so we were at, when this first started, actually, we were working like crazy. Like like it was like 2-3 weeks of straight work, and that's it. We did not have time
Yeah,
to do anything else. Know what I mean? Because you know that, so the supply is was kind of so wasn't sufficient enough to meet the demand. You know, the demand increased suddenly, so we just had to seek other alternatives. So, for instance, what Unilever did globally, they acquired a couple of local players, local factories, you know, because they weren't
yeah,
able to fulfill the demand. And so yeah, that's us. So
yeah.
this surge in demand led us to actually work more, and because we really want all our consumers and our shoppers to see our products in the market. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And to buy them. So yeah,
yeah. Okay, so I want to move a bit away from work. I wanna go
yeah. Please,
into.
please do. I mean, this
I
has
know.
this has been me for the past like 3 months
We'll
discussing
hopefully
with
get you
Hassan.
to light up a bit more. Um,
Yeah.
I okay. So you're someone who's in a long distance relationship, uh,
Yes.
and you've been experiencing that long before the quarantine.
Yeah.
So
It was actually since November 2019.
okay, so well, a couple of
Yeah.
months you've already been through it.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and some people, I guess, now are probably experiencing maybe so their loved ones or their partner is stuck in another country. Um, what for you? Let's say they're kind of experiencing something called isolationship. So like
Hmm.
it's like a relationship, but you're isolated,
Yeah.
and a lot of us, I mean, we're human beings at the end of the day. We crave physical intimacy. We enjoy being close to one another.
Of course.
What advice can you give to our listeners to maintain this relationship, like a healthy relationship, given that some of them, they're facing this emotional and mental turmoil right now?
So honestly, so Amal and I have a very solid foundation, okay, which definitely helped. So before Amal moved to Dubai, um, we've actually, so before that we've been together for like a year and a half, a bit more. So we were able to actually build
Acclimate,
a
yeah.
proper foundation. You know what I mean? And and we both knew that when she was moving, we both knew that it could have been tough, you know. And so at first, like it was a bit rough because we weren't used to that. We weren't used to each one of us being in a country, especially that we were used to seeing each other on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And but we decided that no matter what, we're going to fight that, and we're going to like obviously always talk to each other and believe in our relationship. And we did not want to let it go to waste, because we have something nice, we have something
Yeah.
beautiful, and we believe in this, um, in us, in us being a whole. You know what I mean? So this is what kept us going. Even now, like so when she first moved to Dubai in November, um, so we used to visit. Like I used to go to Dubai every month,
Yeah.
and she also came to Lebanon over Christmas. So it was a nice. So on average, we used to see each other once or even twice a month. But since Feb, I would say, so we haven't seen each other
Yeah.
since then. But thanks to technology, you know, and like all those video calls, you know, even in Dubai, like a few months back, you did not have Zoom, did not
Yeah.
have
True.
to talk, you did not have all those uh, video calling apps. So that's really helping us. And yeah, that's I would say like believe in your relationship, especially if you've worked so hard to actually be where you want to be with your partner. So just believe in
Okay.
that, and hopefully one day you'll definitely like
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
together in the same under the same roof.
So key takeaways is believe in your relationship, and I would
Definitely,
say constant, maybe constant communication as well throughout
definitely.
this period. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously trust goes without saying, you know.
Yeah.
So you need to trust one another, because you know being in a long distance relationship when you're not next to to your partner,
Of
sometimes you
course.
might have your doubts. Sometimes you might, you know, if she doesn't pick up, or she doesn't reply back on the same within 10 minutes, you'd probably freak out, or you know,
Yeah.
just
Some of
don't
our
don't
listeners
don't
have the
let
same.
this, yeah, don't let this get to you. I mean, just trust the person, and yeah, just believe in what you have.
It's good advice, Abdallah. Very
Yeah.
sincere. Thank you. Um, so I know you on also on a personal level, and I know for you, basketball is a big thing,
Oh yeah.
and for you, I guess you play. I mean, I don't know your playing schedule, but you're probably playing either every day, or every week. At least you're playing. So,
Yeah.
given the current situation, um, and obviously you can't play indoors, because if you play indoors, you're going to break your TV or something.
Of
Playing in a
course.
confined space. Um, have you, for example, developed another hobby to cope with that current situation, or
So
yeah,
so yeah, so I was saying, so I'm used to playing basketball like at least twice a week, you know, and I haven't played since March. And when all of that quarantine happened, I just told myself that I need to pick up on a new sport, because I just can't stay indoors and I can't do anything outdoors. So what can I do? So I actually bought a bicycle, and I've been biking every other day. It's
Where are you biking?
and it's
Oh, just
and
you're going out?
you,
Okay.
you see
Okay.
you see the background here behind me? That's actually where I'm biking.
Okay, so you're going out but alone. Okay, fine. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, alone. Yeah, yeah, completely safe, mask, gloves, you know. Um, and there was this one time actually, an officer pulled me over, and he's like,
Pulls you over.
and
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't wearing my mask. I was only wearing gloves, and he's like, first of all, you do know that you're not allowed to bike, right? I told him no. I mean, there are cars and there's everyone here, and it's just that I forgot my mask. Like, okay, yeah, but you can't do that. I told him, okay, it's okay anyway. I was just passing. I was just going for like a 15, 20-minute bike ride, get some groceries, and head back home. Like, okay. Then like a few minutes later, I see another officer. He looks at me and he just waves his hand, you know. It's like, you don't get this, like, one tells you that you need to go back home and you can't do that, and the other just waves and smiles, you know.
And just happy to see someone else on the road.
Yeah, yeah,
When it, always an interesting situations in Beirut. Always.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to take this opportunity now to ask you a couple of questions from our followers. So there's a couple
All
of
right,
questions that some of them they had for our
all
episode.
right.
And so I have one question from at Farah Neil Masood. Okay, she asks you a question.
All right.
It says, "What is something you have adapted to during this quarantine that you will continue doing once it's all over?"
Interesting. A very nice question, Farah. I would say definitely reading. So I've been reading on a daily basis. I did not have the time to do that before. I was always caught up with work, going out with friends, you know. But I've been extremely proud of myself, because, like, I don't remember when the last time I actually finished the book. I've always started reading, but I never finished the book.
Hmm.
And the past 2 months, so far, I've actually finished 2 books, and I'm obviously aiming for more. I'm definitely sticking to that habit, and it's definitely biking, I would say,
Okay, what are the books that you're
because I
reading?
love that.
Just the names
So
quickly.
the first book was The Shoe Dog.
The Shoe Dog.
It's
Okay.
it's creator of Nike.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
Amazing.
yeah, and the second book is called No God But God. So it's like it talks to you about the history of Islam and
Yeah.
how it evolved. Yeah. They're both very
Okay.
interesting books.
Awesome. Very different
Yeah.
topics, but awesome.
Yeah.
um, very, very far apart. Okay. A second question is from at Wandering Rosie. And she
Uh-huh.
asks you a question. How do you find the motivation to do what you do? And what motivates you to keep going?
Wow. So that's actually a tough one.
I have no motivation.
So yeah. No, so when I first so when the quarantine first started, I was actually living at my sister's place, because she and her husband, they were back in KSA back then. They came back in Beirut. Now they're back home. But anyway, and I had came back from Jordan. So when I got back to Beirut, I did not want to stay with my parents. So I just crashed at my sister's place. So I had the whole place to myself for a full month. And obviously, when the quarantine first happened, like, we weren't able. So the restrictions were tougher than they are now.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't able to do anything. So I only had to work. That's it. Like, it was me and the laptop in front of me. but I really thought to myself that I just can't do this. Like I just can't just stay keep on working without doing anything else. And that's when I actually decided that I'm going to pick up on new habits because I needed something to keep me going. So when I first started reading, this kept me like alive, you know. And I always made sure that to stay connected with the people I love and the
Yeah.
people around me. That definitely helped also. That definitely kept me motivated, and especially when you talk about your day-to-day life, what's
Yeah.
going on with you, what's going on with the friends abroad, you know. Video calls, it's always good to see the people in front of you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want to get isolated and just become an introvert, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what kept me going.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
I
and the food,
guess, yeah.
and the
And
food.
I was gonna say I wanted to
Oh,
open a subject
obviously,
about food. I know that you like food
obviously.
so much, so
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that
That
brings
was
us to
nice.
our
Yeah,
it brings us to our last question, actually.
yeah.
Um, from at Zaid ALK, who asks
Zaid,
you, who you know very well, who asks a
of
question:
course.
how much weight did you gain during Corona? And I guess,
Zaid, let's not go there,
I
man.
guess,
Let's
I
not
guess,
go there.
I guess the first question be: did you gain weight first? By saying how
Uh,
much?
Actually, I did not gain weight. I actually lost weight. I lost 2 kilos, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
only because I've been doing a lot of home workouts and biking, and I've been trying trying to watch my food intake. You
Okay.
know, like I'm cutting down on sweets. I mean, that's not really helping. That's not really working out. But I mean, it's definitely much better than pre-quarantine,
Of
I
course.
would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
because I knew that if I'm stuck at home, I mean, I can definitely like have a lot of desserts, you know, and I gained a
Yeah.
lot of
Like
kilos.
yeah, like everyone is experiencing the same
I
thing.
forced myself not to.
The fridge is very close and has become a new
Oh yeah,
friend in
oh
this
yeah.
time. So yeah. Well, Abdullah, I want to say that we've reached the end of the show, and it's been an absolute pleasure to discuss a few things that are very beneficial for a lot of people, and you've shed some light on how we can cope with the current situation, and how you've been
Same
coping,
here,
and
Alush.
people are struggling during these times. Um, so thank you very much. Really,
Thank
it's
you,
been an
thank you.
absolute
Pleasure
pleasure.
is mine. Pleasure is mine, Ali.
I'll sign us off. It's been a pleasure.
Cool.
This is the Nobody's Famous podcast. We were with Abdallah Halwani, live from Beirut. You can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, and Rami. You can watch us on YouTube. I used to say, don't watch us while driving. Well, now you're not driving, you're at home, so you can watch us. And please tune in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe.